disclaimer, while I was recording the podcast, I didn't notice until 16 minutes in that I was actually recording it via my laptop microphone as opposed to the Yeti mic, so the audio has pretty screwed up for the first 16 minutes. And while I did catch it, I'm too lazy to re-record it because, well, I really don't want to be quite honest. And just because, and you might say, well, it's because you're lazy. No, it's because I'm really sick. And it's better for me to not use my voice too much. So anyways, here's the rest of the video, and it'll be, as it is. So, enjoy. And welcome to Pluribus Unum's Fireside Chats. Not as good as FDR's, but hey, it's something. So today we're gonna be doing another thoughts on. I know, 3 in a row. Woo-hoo. But this is someone that I was kind of really wanting to tackle because I really do not like her. I just don't. For many reasons, which I will get to. But first, let's get right into the news. The first one comes from the kind of Libertarian Party. Former Massachusetts Governor Bill Weld rejoins the GOP. Former Massachusetts Governor William Weld has changed his party registration from Libertarian back to Republican as he mulls a possible primary challenge against President Donald Trump. Now, there's actually a little more to that. He's expected to make an announcement on February 15th. What are my thoughts? Well, Bill Weld rejoining the Republican Party to challenge Donald Trump in the primary could be an interesting thought to see, especially considering I know for a fact that the media is going to play up Bill Weld now because he's going to try and run against Donald Trump in the primary when, if he were to do so in the, if he were to do so in, as a Libertarian, he would get no coverage at all. But since he's going to be joining a major party, he's going to get a ton of coverage. Hooray! So, if you like Bill Weld, that's good. Although Libertarians are kind of mad because they're like, yo, what the F, bro? I thought you were going to run in our primary. But, I guess he's just trying to be a bit more logistical. People are still holding on John Kasich 2020. Sorry, I'm cutting down with something. You can probably hear it in my voice or stuff or whatever. But anyways, next story. Political giant John Dingell dies at 92. Michigan Representative John Dingell Jr., the longest-serving member of Congress in American history, who helped write most of the nation's major environmental and energy laws, died Thursday, his wife said. He was 92. The Dearborn statesman was a champion in the auto industry and was credited with increasing access to health care, among other accomplishments. He died peacefully at his home in Dearborn, surrounded by his wife. Surrounded by his wife? I would assume it would say surrounded by his loved ones. I don't know much about John Dingell, to be quite honest. So, I can't really say, was it a good loss or was it a bad loss? From what I read, it seems that he's a halfway decent representative. But, nothing really too big to write home about. Not the equivalent of saying Dennis Kucinich died. But anyways, next story. Howard Schultz to be featured in CNN Town Hall in Texas next week. CNN will host a town hall with former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz next week in Texas as the businessman mulls a potential White House bid. Schultz, who last month publicly considered interest in running for president as a centrist independent, will take questions from voters representing civic educational organizations. Just last week, people were shitting on the fact that Howard Schultz was running for president. Either progressives like me who are like, your centrist ideology isn't going to work for president, or Democrats that are like, why don't you just run as a Democrat? But, like, they do not understand that nobody cares about Howard Schultz running for president. Nobody cares. Neither does anybody care about Kamala Harris running for president. Nobody cares because they're not for Medicare for All. The Medicare for All supporting candidates are the ones they care about. And I mean, and let's just be fair. Remember, Howard Schultz hasn't even announced he's running for president yet. He's deciding, he's in the exploratory phase, not even the exploratory committee, he's in the exploring phase. The phase before you do an exploratory committee. And just to add insult to injury, Jack Feller, Jonathan Sharkey, Mike Norman, Rocky De La Fuente, Patrick Little, Keith Davenport, John Delaney, Tulsi Gabbard, Julian Castro, Kirsten Gillibrand, Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Jay Inslee, Pete Buttigieg, Andrew Yang, Marianne Williamson, Jeff Boss, Harry Braun, Robbie Wells, Jeffrey Flagger, Ryan Farber, Willie Carter, Ken Nwadike Jr., Michael Arth, Donald Eugene Lowe, Adam Kokesh, Vermin Supreme, Cecil Inc., Joe Exotic, Arvind Vora, William Hurst, Derek Michael Reed, Kim Ruff, Daniel Berman, John McAfee, Senator Kinemo, Christian Moyawasiza Curry, Ian Schlockman, Jimmy Oogle, Joe Collins, Dennis Lambert, Dario Hunter, Alan Augustin, Elijah Manley, Bill Bays, Dan Ratner, Lawrence Johnson, Terry Wheelock, Brian C. Carroll. Those are a lot of presidential candidates that have already announced that they're running for president, but are currently no town halls for them. They have no town halls planned. And pretty much all of them would probably queue for a town hall. But, you know, they can't be on because nobody will vote for them. Except for the fact that a lot of them actually want to have, like, a lot of support. Tulsi Gabbard running on the Bernie Sanders wing and blah, 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 blah. But who cares about Tulsi Gabbard? I mean, she's anti-war. Nobody is anti-war. But anyways, the next story, speaking of Tulsi Gabbard denounces David Duke, rejects his endorsement. Representative Tulsi Gabbard on Tuesday denounced David Duke, a founder and former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, and rejected his 2020 endorsement. I have strongly denounced David Duke's hateful views and his so-called support multiple times in the past, and reject his support, Gabbard said in a statement to The Hill. Publicizing Duke's so-called endorsement is meant to distract from my message that I will end regime change wars, work to end the new Cold War, and take us away from the pre-recipe of a nuclear war, which is greater danger now than it was ever. Duke, who founded the Louisiana branch of the KKK in 1974 and served as the Grand Wizard from the Knights of the KKK until 1979, was one day appeared to endorse Gabbard, the first Hindu member of Congress. But, you know, I mean, that's all there really is for Gabbard. Nazi man says, I support Gabbard, hail Hitler. Gabbard says, go away, stupid idiots. And I mean, you know, that's just how things are. When you get support from unsavory folks, you go, I'm not gonna get these guys support. I don't want their support. Goodbye. And I mean, I think Donald Trump did that like a million years after the KKK endorsed him. But anyways, now here's a story actually coming from outside of the U.S. Far-right former Dutch lawmaker who said the Quran is poison converts to Islam. A former member of the far-right Dutch political party who was critical of Muslims announced this week that he had converted to Islam. Jerome van Claveren, formerly a politician in the Party of Freedom, said that he decided to convert to practicing Islam while writing a book about the religion, according to Politico. During that writing, I came across more and more things that made my view of Islam falter, he told the Dutch radio station. Van Cleuden left the Freedom Party in 2014 after being a member for 4 years. The party, led by anti-Islam populist Geert Wilders, it is known for nationalistic views. This is actually kind of interesting. I mean, this guy literally goes from Islam is poison to I am now practicing Islam. This is a radical view shift. And now there's also the idea like maybe he had a religious epiphany and the Quran is real and blah 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 blah. I'd say maybe his views changed and maybe he just saw something that he might have liked in the Quran. But I wouldn't necessarily say the Quran is real because I'm not in that belief system. But things maybe. Now, let us get into a short version of a segment that I've now gotten prominently part of, that I'll probably make a jingle of soon. 2020 Watch. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. On the Democratic side, we have one person formally announcing that they are entering the presidential ring, Elizabeth Warren. She had formed the exploratory committee before. Now she is formally seeking the Democratic Party nomination. She did so literally on February 9th. And today, because I'm recording this at like 12:36 a.m., at 2:10, it's February the 10th, and it's 12:36 in the morning, it is expected that Amy Klobuchar, who announced that she was going to announce something today, and she's been getting in a lot of flack because there's allegations that she abused her staff. To which someone on our campaign said that they can abuse her staff any day, I'm like I don't like spoiler alert for my ranking of 2020 Democrats. Like, I shit on people like Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and stuff, but they are still in my top 10. Amy Klobuchar, she's not even in my top 10. Because who cares about Amy Klobuchar? I've never cared about Amy Klobuchar in my life. In the entirety of my political awareness life, I had no clue either who Amy Klobuchar is or why I should care about her. And yet people are telling me that she's a prominent 2020 thinker. In fact, people on like 538, they openly say that they believe Klobuchar could be the presidential nominee. No. Nobody cares about Amy Klobuchar. Boring, bland, moderate Democrat that's like, we tried this before, and it's not gonna work. I'm not gonna rant about Amy Klobuchar because I really don't care too much about her to rant. Although I will say Amy Klobuchar just did vote to end government protesting in regards to Israel, meaning that you can't protest Israel anymore. She voted for it. So the left is definitely not going to like her candidacy, 100%. And another thing about 2020 is the small third-party candidate of the day, Joe Schreiner. Joe Schreiner is a perennial candidate who has run for every presidential election since 2000. He's run for the Green Party and run as an independent. Now he plans to seek the American Solidarity Party nomination for president in 2020. He's running on a consistent life platform because the American Solidarity Party is a Christian Democratic Party. It adheres to, you have to be pro-life in regards to war, pro-life in regards to the death penalty, pro-life in regards to abortion. You're pro-life on everything. Much like how the Constitution Party is like, they don't want Mexicans getting jobs via, outsourcing, and they don't want Mexicans to get jobs via immigration. They just don't want the Mexicans to get the jobs. Like, he has, like, a lot of... he's, like, other aspects of his platform are, like, helping healthcare, and, being a Catholic, and putting America first, and blah, blah, blah. His website does make a joke about the fact that he's run for president so many times, because his website literally has, like, for president 2000, like, how Kyle on my Jack Feller one, I have, like, that one where it's, like, Jack Feller for president, and then it's, like, crosses out all the dates that he's run for president. He pretty much has that on his website. This is the first time I've seen his website, so, although he is anti-gay marriage, because that's the Christian Democratic Party. Like, they adhere to, like, what the Bible says. The Bible says no abortion. The Bible says no killing. The Bible says no gay marriage. That's how it is. So, I'm probably not going to be casting my vote for him anytime soon. Mostly due to the fact that the only people who can cast their votes for him are people in the American Solidarity Party convention. He's got a couple of challengers, so we'll see how it goes. Now, today, getting to the main topic of the video, Candace Owens. Oh my god, why is Candace Owens a thing? Why is she a thing? First off, let me explain who Candace Owens is for all the people who are blissfully unaware of her. She is an American conservative commentator and political activist. She's known for her pro-Trump stance and her criticism of Black Lives Matter and the Democratic Party. She's the director of communications and the conservative advocacy group Turning Point USA. She was raised in Stamford, Connecticut, and was raised by her grandparents after her parents divorced. She was, not treated so well, getting things like racist phone calls during her time as a senior in high school. But anyways, she first gained notoriety for launching Social Autopsy in 2016, a website that would expose bullies on the internet by tracking their digital footprint. South Park made fun of this. The purpose of the site said it would have solicited users to take screenshots of offensive posts and send them to the website, where they would be categorized by the user's name. She used crowdfunding on Kickstarter for the website. The proposal was immediately controversial, and people immediately were like, hey, hold on, you're doxing us. In response, Candace Owens was doxed. She apparently blamed the doxings on progressives who were involved with the Gamergate controversy. And then, she actually got support from conservatives who were also involved in the Gamergate controversy, such as Milo Yiannopoulos and Mike Cernovich. After this, Candace Owens became a conservative. I'm not kidding, she literally is quoted as saying, I became a conservative overnight. I realized that liberals were actually the racists. Liberals were actually the trolls. The Social Autopsy is why I'm conservative. Now you might say, come on. She couldn't have actually become conservative overnight. She obviously had to be, at least like libertarianish. This is what happened I explained to you, that's what happened in 2016. In 2015, she owned a website that literally had her quoted as saying, the batshit antics of the Republican Tea Party. The good news is they will eventually die off, hopefully in their sleep, and then we can get right on with the obvious social change that we need to happen immediately. Wow, this is incredibly interesting, she has a very similar viewpoint to Dave Rubin. Super duper uber progressive. And then one day just, oh, I'm a conservative now. Wow, this is just incredible. How did this happen overnight? Like, I mean, I'm being serious. This happened overnight. You don't just change your political views in the middle of the night. That is not normal. This is not normal at all. If you believe that you actually changed your political views overnight, you are not intellectually honest at all. You are not intellectually honest, period, if you change your political views from one thing to another. Now let me explain. If you gradually change your views over time, over a longer period of time, then I'd have interest in actually believing in what you say. But Candace Owens, as I said, literally went from 2015, Trump is evil and nasty and his penis is small, to Donald Trump is a nice, sweet, honest man. Why would anybody hate him so? And, well, Candace Owens, believe it or not, has said some really stupid things. Like, she doesn't even go, like, in the sense of, like, lying. She just outright says stupid bullshit that is also conveniently lies. Like, honestly, she's, I don't believe her change, but, like, it's like she's overcompensating for her political change. Like, one time she's a super rabid progressive, and now all of a sudden she literally flips pretty much entirely on the fringe right stuff. Like, for example, here's one of her most infamous moments that you may have known.
You don't think we have to care about the environment? Like, what do you...
No, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit?
No. Okay, let me clarify this. I don't throw trash on the ground. Like, I'm not saying, like, we need to, like, trash the environment. Like, but do I believe in climate change? No.
You don't believe in climate change?
Well, I think the climate always changes, I guess is what I should say. Do I believe that this is, like, an issue that is being, that is global warming, which they've changed conveniently. They got rid of the word once scientists started disproving it. Now they only say climate change. No, I think that would...
Yeah, you're a fucking dumbass. There is no dancing around the issue. Candace Owens is stupid. I do not, like, for example, let's check out the whole, she's like, oh, when scientists started disproving global warming, now they call it climate change. Bitch, it's always been climate change. Global warming was just a name that was used for the exact same thing. And you know why they changed the name? Let me explain it slowly so you can understand. They changed the name to climate change because when you say global warming, it implies that the things, like the temperature of the world, only gets warmer, when it is not true. You see, the climates, now when it gets cold, it's fucking freezing. Like, when it used to be cold, now it's fucking freezing. Now when it's slightly warm, it's like 90 degrees. It's February right now in North Carolina, and it's 76 degrees outside. But no, climate change isn't real. No. And I mean, she even goes on to say later that she's like, I believe climate change is too politicized. Who politicized it? It was Al Gore. You politicized it. Al Gore brought up an issue, and you were like, no, the Democrats were for it, now I'm against it. I don't get why this is batshit insanity. Why would she, like, and Joe Rogan, he pretty much just wipes the floor with her. when he brings up just like actual scientific studies, and she's like, no, I believe that they were bought off by the Democratic Party. I mean, the Democrats, blah, 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 blah. She's like almost Alex Jones-like in her conspiracy theories. Speaking of conspiracy theories, here's some of the things that she's said that she believes in. In 2018, during the time that this crazy bomber started sending bombs to like Cory Booker and, Obama, she spread a conspiracy theory that she spread this incredibly interesting theory that, and actually, it's not even a theory. She spread the truth that a Democrat sent the bombs to the Democrats. Why? I don't know why. It doesn't even make sense. Like, why would she believe that? Somewhat. It doesn't even make sense logistically. Oh, they're gonna blame a conservative on this, and that's why they sent the bomb. Yeah, also why Barack Obama dies. It's stupid. That's insanity. Why would you believe that a Democrat sent a bomb to another Democrat? It's stupid. Stupid. Hello? Is there anything in there? I tap on her head and I hear nothing. That is what you get with Candace Owens. She brings nothing to the table. Like, I give Ben Shapiro credit. He is logistical in debates, at least somewhat can make an argument for his belief system, and, is at least somewhat intelligent in some aspects. Candace Owens is completely brain dead. Like, I do not understand why people would even logistically like her. I know why they like her. Because she's a left-winger who turned to conservatism, who got red-pilled. Her YouTube channel used to be called Red Pill Black. Really creative name, by the way. But hey, I'm not one to talk. I mean, I just stole the United States national motto, which is what it should be. Not in God we trust, blah, blah, blah. But you want to know what's more hilarious? It's something that she's been trying to do, and it's similar to something someone else tried to do, or is trying to do. But, oh boy, she just takes it to a whole new level. I mean, this other guy takes it to a whole new level too. I barely knew this man existed. But we'll get to him when we get to him. That's a different day. This is the woman we're talking about, and her stupid movement, Blexit. Oh my goodness. Blexit. Blexit is the dumbest idea I have ever heard in my life. Well, I mean, that's a hyperbole, but you know what I mean. Here is her plan. Here's what it explains on Wikipedia what Blexit is. It is a campaign to encourage African Americans to abandon the Democratic Party. Why? Well, it's very simple. Because Democrats are the real racists. You can't see me, but, I mean, I just made a very interesting face. What in the actual hell do you mean? I don't get what you mean. Like, she logistically believes that there's just gonna be this huge round of African Americans who are just gonna decide, like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna leave the Democratic Party now. Why? Why would they change their views now? Let me explain on the actual official Blexit About page. By the way, their tagline is, "We're free." No, it's not "we're free," it's "we free." African Americans already have this big stereotype of not pronouncing words correctly. May I ask you a question instead of may I ask you a question? You don't really need to add salt to the wound. It says right here, Brexit is a frequency for those who have released themselves from the political orthodoxy. It is a rebellion led by Americans wishing to disrupt the stimulation of fear. Brexit is a renaissance. It is our formal declaration of independence. Declaration of independence? From what? From what? What is your independence? Where are you leaving the country? Oh, I'm sorry. You're declaring yourself independent from the Democratic Party. Oh, so what? You're gonna become independent or join a third party? No, of course not. We gotta go to the Republican Party. If you were saying, let's leave and go to a third party, then you'd have something to be like, ooh, this big movement of people going to a third party, that's an interesting idea. But she's literally saying, no, let's go to the Republican Party. Oh, boy. And here's the thing. She has these things called inconvenient truths, where it's like, knowledge is the root of all freedom. Learn about America's forgotten history. And she goes on to list sources to explain how Democrats are the real racists. And in actuality, the Republicans are the real heroes. Now let's see if there's anything on the page except for the whole Democrats were the founders of the KKK and Republicans freed the slaves. Lynching, a fate for both blacks and whites. 344 black Republicans and what? Wait, hold on. Are you trying to all lives matter lynching? I can't believe it. She says on her website there were 3,446 black Republicans and 1,297 white Republicans lynched by the KKK between 1882 and 1968. Okay. I mean, not knocking the 1,297 white Republicans lynched, but lynching was mostly targeted to African Americans, and you really don't need to all lives matter lynching. I'm laughing. I'm smiling like cheek to cheek. The fact that she has to all lives matter lynching. What's next? You gonna all lives matter slavery? Like, yeah, but the Hebrews were also slaves. And the funny thing is, the picture she uses is actually from a Republican led KKK meeting. President LBJ's true motivation: I'll have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. President Lyndon B. Johnson. That quote was absolutely made up. Well, not absolutely made up. It was a second-hand source who was known for lying. And before you say, well, I mean, maybe LBJ said the N-word in private. No shit. Everyone said N-word back in the 1960s. That was just the word. That was just the word back then. Now you might say, well, I mean, slavery was a thing back then. Yeah, I'm not saying it's completely right, but I mean, are you completely ignoring LBJ's contribution to the African Americans? Just because of the fact that, oh, he said the N-word once. And what did he do? Gave them equal rights? Helped the poor and needy with the likes of Medicaid and Medicare? Why are you trying to, undermine these huge things for African Americans just because, but the Democrats said the N-word. See, they're not really progressive because they say N-word. This is ludicrous. Oh, wait, there's more. Margaret Sanger calls for black extermination. Colored people are like human weeds that need to be exterminated. Hold on, I actually don't know much about this quote, so I'll give it a good look before I actually give my thoughts on it. Brief intermission. Okay, just looked it up. Turns out, similar source to that LBJ quote. It is it is like a quote that isn't necessarily 100% accurate. May have been taken from other quotes. And, well, may not have actually been said by Sanger. I mean, you could have just used the whole fact that Sanger was at a KKK rally at one point. But, I mean, there's nothing really explicitly for Sanger. She was also in favor of eugenics, which is also, not necessarily a good topic, but, you know, I mean, that's just how the thick cookie crumbles. Forgotten March, Forgotten People 1.0. They marched for 17 people killed in Parkland, but are silent for nearly 500 people killed in Chicago this year. Yes, black on black crime is a bad thing. But, you know, the idea of a person just mowing down children in a school isn't necessarily as, you know, just, like, I mean, Chicago, everybody brings up, like, oh, what about Chicago? What about Chicago? Well, yeah. And there are a lot of things in the world currently right now. And, well, Chicago has its own issues, and we can talk about Chicago's issues, and we do talk about a lot of them. Gun control could be fixed with Chicago. I meant to say that reverse. Like, Chicago could be fixed with gun control. And people talking about how Chicago has, like, really tight gun control, but somehow they still get guns. Well, yeah, because everywhere else or in Chicago, like, around Chicago, has very lax gun control laws. So make the other areas strict in gun control laws. And, well, I mean, but here's the weird thing. If you're so concerned about the people who died in Chicago, march for them. You organize the march. Unsurprisingly, the children who survived the mass shooting, who organized they specifically organized a march for the mass shooting that they were in. Surprisingly, maybe if you're really so concerned about the Chicago area specifically, you should probably go march for them. And I mean, I think it would get really big notoriety if you did. And it would bring really big attention to black on black crime. I see. Black on black crime is a very bad thing that is currently going on in the country. But the problem is, you only bring attention to this to drive away attention from other atrocities currently. Like every time there's a mass shooting, we try to bring up attention to the mass shooting. You say, but what about Chicago? Yet every other time there isn't a mass shooting, you never mention Chicago. If you're so concerned, maybe you should bring up Chicago every single day, and hopefully we can get gun control legislation so that we can prevent Chicago and these mass shootings from going on. Okay, I actually got a glimpse of this a little bit, so let's talk about more truths. Forgotten March, Forgotten People 2.0. They marched for 2,000 separated illegal aliens, but are silent for 900 black babies aborted daily. You know, we don't talk about aborted babies because they're not babies. They are not babies. They are fetuses. They are tissue. They are nothing. They are nothing. This aborted fetus means nothing to me. It only becomes something if you make it something. The fetus is completely useless until it reaches a certain age. And unfortunately, you seem to be of the pretense like, oh, we need to have it at a certain age. We need to have every baby. Why? We have a strict overpopulation problem. Which means we probably shouldn't be putting in more people in the world. But you're like, no, every time you have sex, you gotta have the baby. Why? Why do conservatives want the baby so much? Because life is sacred. And you know what's really funny? You always like pro-life, pro-life. What about the babies that we kill when we bomb Syria? What about the baby that died in captivity? They were captured by, they weren't captured, but they were taken, imprisoned by ICE, and they died. A government agency killed a baby. Now you might say, oh, well, I don't know, I don't remember the specific age of the kid, but that kid died in their custody. Unsurprisingly, when we go into an agency that says we're going to get rid of your baby, as opposed to one that says we're going to take care of your baby that is currently being held by us because you're an illegal immigrant, unsurprisingly, we care about the one that was snatched away instead of the one where the mother was like, kill it, please. The mother was not coerced into getting an abortion. She walked in there legitimately wanting to put the needle in and say, bye-bye, baby. There, no problem. They might say, well, that's racist because you're killing a bunch of black people before they're born. Or you could address the problems that have the black people need to get abortions. No, you're just going to whine about it because blah, 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 blah. All right. President Wilson in federal resegregation. President Woodrow Wilson fired the most black federal employees and resegregated multiple government offices. I mean, couldn't you have at least used other arguments, like how he ignored lynching, or how he watched The Birth of a Nation and gave it a good review? Alright. I mean, again, I don't really... Woodrow Wilson, he's not, super bad in regards to his presidency, but he has a lot of those, moral blind spots that are, really bad, that don't make him in my top 10. I think he's in my top 10. No, he's not in my top 10. But, Woodrow Wilson, he's just, he's weird. I don't like Woodrow Wilson too much. But, you can't just, if you're going to use Woodrow Wilson as, an anti-Democrat argument, can you at least use, proper ones? Black kids are super predators. In 1996, Hillary Clinton broadly described black youths as super predators with no conscience and no empathy. Yep. I agree with you there. I didn't like Hillary Clinton, so you're just preaching to the choir. So next, Negroes ought to be in Africa. Private letter from Harry Truman reveals extraordinary personal beliefs held towards non-whites. I don't really know about this one either, so you'll have to give me a second. Okay, to be fair, yeah, Harry Truman was rather racist. But he also desegregated the military. And a lot of other government offices. And I can say it's inexcusable for a lot of his racist rhetoric. And it appears that he did have kind of an evolution in regards to racism. But, it says really that he actually was one of the first presidents to actually try to declare, true equality for blacks. Did he go far enough and just desegregate the military? No, I'd say that there are people who wanted to go further, like Henry Wallace, who was really good in regards to, segregation. He wanted to desegregate everything. But, look at what you want to look at. President Barack Obama, or Barack the Barista. A few years ago, Barack Obama would have been getting us coffee. President Bill Clinton. I don't even know what that is. But I guess it's something. Oh, here we go. The KKK's real origin story. Democratic Party created the KKK. We got one. We got the obvious one. Let's ignore that. Next. I mean, I'm pretty sure you all know the whole thing about, like, you know, like, the KKK founded by the Democrats. And I don't even get, like, the whole concept of, like, the Democrats founded the KKK. And, well, I mean, are the KKK still funding the Democratic Party? Otherwise, there's no argument. Because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure David Duke was just sitting there one day just like, you know who will approve of the white man's agenda? Barack Hussein Obama. He's the one that's gonna bring the white man what they need. Wow. Jim Crow segregation laws were created and maintained by Democrats. Wow, basic history. Democrats supported the Dred Scott. Wow, literally just... like... oh, they even bring up George Wallace. Wow. I mean... we're pretty close to the end. And I could explain a lot of BS here. Democrats versus civil rights protests. Eugene Bull Connor unleashed attacks on dogs from fire hoses on civil rights demonstrators. And here's the big thing. While you might say, but you see, this is proof that Democrats are the real racists. They hated all black people. And they only wanted to keep segregation alive. But here's the thing. When push came to shove, and the Civil Rights Act had to be passed, it passed with 152 Democrats in the House voting for it, and 46 Democrats in the Senate voting for it. Democrats were taking the charge in the Civil Rights Act. LBJ and JFK were fully in the civil rights group. Eugene McCarthy was in the civil rights group. Estes Keyhofer, if he were alive when the bill was passed, he would have voted in favor of it. He was a staunch supporter of civil rights before then. I mean, this is just given. Just historically, it shows that Democrats were on both sides of the issue. There were Republicans on both sides of the issue, but here's the thing. Republicans saw that there was a stranglehold that the Democrats were losing because more Democrats were becoming in favor of less of, protecting civil rights and passing them. So the Republicans swooped on in to take up the mantle of the anti-civil rights group. And they try to do it in a sense of no, we're not doing it because we hate black people. We're doing it in the sense because we need to, we believe in small government. Whereas the Democrats that were still being we're segregationists, they were just doing it because they were racist. The Republicans were doing it because they believe that, oh no, we're not doing it because we're racist. We're doing it because we believe in small government. That's what Barry Goldwater's whole argument was. I didn't vote against the Civil Rights Act because I hate black people. I voted against it because I'm economically not in the sense of the big government taking over my blah 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 blah. When in actuality they were just hiding the fact that they were kind of racist. But you gotta go back to the Republican Party because they freed slaves. And what have they done for African Americans since then? Because you want to know what the Democratic Party did for African Americans? The New Deal, welfare, Medicare, Medicaid. Social Security, food stamps. It may seem racist to say that those are the things that African Americans need, but those are things that a lot of African Americans need. Democrats are in favor of keeping those things for the most part. And Republicans are strongly against those things. And not for the most part. For the majority part. For pretty much all parts. And, like, let's just look at this logistically. How many presidents in American history who were Republicans were staunch supporters of civil rights? Well, there's Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, and Dwight D. Eisenhower, and to an extent Calvin Coolidge. But otherwise, they either didn't care that much, or were just flat out racist. How many Democratic presidents? Let's see, there's JFK, LBJ, I guess you got me there, to be quite honest. I thought I was going to pull like a whole, like, I gotcha, but I guess you got me there, to be fair. You think maybe there might have been some Democrats before then? Like, there were some Democratic tickets, I could say, that were probably for civil rights. But otherwise, I don't really think so. So I guess you got me there. Maybe that is true. Democrats are the real racists. The only reason that they're two of their top candidates, I mean, just look at how racist they are. I mean, half of their candidate lineup is white. I mean, yeah, but the other half is, pretty diverse. And I mean, I don't even use race baiting politics. I don't like that. But, it's really idiotic that Candace Owens believes, just any of this stuff. And I still don't even believe that she believes any of this. I mean, just the rapid change in politics. I don't really buy that she believes in all this stuff. And this is just a huge act that she's just using to get money. I mean, who's her name? Blair White. She said that she got there were some people that she knew in the conservative movement that were like, yeah, I don't really believe in all this stuff. And there's huge implications that it could be Dave Rubin or Candace Owens. Because, we have all this evidence to back up the claims. So, yeah, I guess that's all I got to say about Candace Owens. Don't really like her. And realistically, she should probably take that blue pill. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified when a future video of mine comes out. And if you're interested in more political content from me, you can go to my website or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Quora, or check out my articles on the Independent Political Report. What are your thoughts on Candace Owens? Do you like her? Do you hate her? Or do you think she's not that intelligent? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below.